a lot of ladies feel like they don't want to sacrifice their career on the altar of motherhood. Like motherhood is like this thing that is gonna, you know, just destroy your career path. And Laura has done it. And so looking back now, this is gonna be a very heavy question, but just looking back now, do you have any regrets? Do you have any what would you have to say about that? Because you had a career and now you can decide to go back to it if you want to. But anyway,
I might.
let's be quiet and let you do the talking.
So first of all, no regrets at all. That would be, I don't know. Women physically, mentally, we're made to be moms. There's some couples where things get flipped and it works, and that's amazing. I mean, it's like, okay, I will be open-minded.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, women are made for this. I am made for this. I'm made to be a mom. I'm made to be home with my kids. So I have not regretted any minute of that. Another story. When I was in my 20s, I really wanted the career. I was going to be an illustrator, freelance illustrator. I was going to be a freelance illustrator, married, of course,
Yeah, of course.
kids,
Yeah.
little car on the side there.
On the side.
Yeah, on the side.
My career is
but
amazing.
the career freelance illustrator, big dreams. And I went in for, I guess I was having spiritual direction at Deaconville. And so I'm talking with him and just casual conversation. I said, yeah, I just don't want to be just a mom. And and he made me stop and he said, what did you say? Well, I don't want to be just a mom. And he said, well, wait, say that again. And I was like, just a mom. And he said, do you understand what you're saying? I said, oh, okay. So evidently I didn't think much of just being a mom at that point. And that was a real wake up call for me to begin thinking differently about my perception and my ambitions, and this deep seated idea that it just wasn't enough. So that was a big deal to understand that. And I'm just forever grateful to Deacon Bill for pointing those words out to me that came out of my own mouth. And I talk to my friends who also stayed home and raised their kids, and we say, how did this happen? How did we come to this point where we have this idea in our head where it's just not good enough to be just a mom? And we're like, well, it's the culture, it's the TV shows, it's everything that we see. It's beyond TV shows, but it's everything is saturated with the go out and get a career. Yeah. So, understanding that, wow, I really had this notion and I wasn't looking for a husband or, I just thought, oh, well, of course, one day I'll get married. That'll sidecar. This is happening over here, but the career is the thing. And now, both my husband and I have this really strong understanding of, no, the career supports the family, and it's, not the career and the families on the side. And I think more families would probably stay together. And nothing against women having careers. If you have that, in mind, that the family and the career supports the family, or it's good to be educated. It's good to have some ideas, but we need to put family first.
Yeah. I love what you just said, Laura, and I feel like as a society, we are brought up as girls. We go to school and we get educated, and the whole goal is career. So maybe as the girls grow up, we kind of have to let them see the importance of family, because we do not let them see it. I mean, we buy them dolls and just play with your dolls, but I feel like as they get older, we have to really let them see that, it's great to have all these awesome careers, but there's nothing that can compare to raising kids. It's just a role that is so important, and also societal expectations. Because I remember after I had my first kid, my first child, and I had my kids when they were 6 months old. I was pregnant again, and 6 months I was pregnant again. Crazy, but then I remember someone asking me after my first kid, and in America, the maternity leave is just horrific. It's terrible. I hope they fix it. Some companies are doing better, thank God. But generally, like where I was working, it was like 12 weeks. And I was like, after the 12 weeks, I was like, what? People want to work after this? You know, no offense to you, that's what you did. I think everyone is also different. But for me, I was like, this is that. I mean, we did try because I was like, okay, let's check daycare costs. And we're like, it was like $350 a week then. And we're like, this is totally not worth it. Then I was pregnant and I was like, okay, this is just, it's not worth it. So I think there's a lot of things that comes to play when it comes to career and motherhood. And it's like, there's daycare, is that the best for the kiddos, especially now Laura homeschooled. And I know not everyone homeschools. And so some people will decide to, yeah, after their kids are 5, maybe if you decide to push your kids in school, that's fine. But before they turn 5, it feels like the mom is just such a crucial role that
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal.
I can, when we moved into our first house and I had he was 18 months old and then my newborn, and neighbor said, oh, join the PTA, the Parent Teacher Association.
Sorry, no.
And I thought, why? Because I didn't even know at that point that I would homeschool. And I didn't understand. And then, later I found she was putting her, I don't know, 3-year-old. What's the age that they put them in not daycare, daycare, school, preschool. Okay.
4.
Okay. She was putting her, and the poor little girl was so terrified. She was just having medical issues. So it's like, okay, let's give her medicine to fix the medical issues that are being caused by her being so terrified of going to school. And I thought, because I was never of that mindset. I thought, well, just don't put her in school. But this is, very me, I guess.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So society has really messed the whole system up for moms. And
it is messy.
It's messy. And so I think that you have to, as an individual, as a mom, as a couple, decide and prayerfully decide what's best for you. Because I'm so thankful for my husband. I don't think it's a decision that one person can take. It has
right.
To, yeah.
Right.
If one person decides it, it's not gonna work because it's the other party.
It was a real burden for my husband. I mean, it still is. The burden never went away.
It's a really, really,
it's a burden and not to be taken lightly. And you can't make that decision on your own. It has to be made as a couple.
It has to be the both of you, prayerfully doing it. And also, because I know some couples, one person's income may not be enough, but there's always ways around it, because I'm sure Laurie would say that there's a lot of things that you could have afforded to do if maybe you were working. You'd be able to spend more. And I was having this conversation with my husband that you can be a little more, not exorbitant lifestyle, but that's another thing I feel like we have to train young girls when they're growing up is learning the economics of managing a family on one income. Because even if you will have a career, you will have a child and you will not be able to work for a while. And so how will you manage your home in that? So do you think that that's very important?
They used to have a course in school called home economics, right? And I can remember, and this is where did this come from? I'm just a young lady, grew up in America, but I thought, I wouldn't do that. I want a career. Where did that come from? But they used to train girls to be moms, and no one's training. And it's kind of that's beneath me. No, it's not. This is a real challenge. Rise to the challenge.
I don't know how we ever had those kind of mindset. Because we have to be more family minded now as a culture. We have to start shifting the individualistic. It's all about me and my career. Like you said, we always thought, kids and husbands will tag along with us. And then we have our careers and we're like, going.
Trust me, kids and husband are front center now. I've been for a while. So,
there has to be a huge, 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 huge cultural, societal shift to bring in family as a very important. It's very important.
It is important, and it's very
and it's irreplaceable.
It is
Really.
irreplaceable.
It's totally irreplaceable because you can replace jobs, you can.
The family's the building block of society, and
yeah.
the way the family goes, society goes. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I'm all these
Yeah.
quotes,
True.
but
True.
it's the way it is. So
Very true. Very true. And
yeah.
so now there's a lot of depression and suicide and all these vices amongst kids because we see, you know, what the generation of moms and dads away and kids left to. And someone called it, well, I forget the name of it, but he said the kids have trained themselves. They've grown up by themselves.
They've kind of
So now
raised themselves.
Raised themselves.
Yeah.
There you go. They raised themselves. So now they don't really care for whatever mom or dad has to say because they're like, yeah, I raised myself.
Well, that goes back to relationship. If the parents aren't there, they haven't earned the right to discipline the kids.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. Going back to the question of career versus family life. You know, I mean, and I still, even to this day, I have to ask myself, am I after the glamour or am I after serving God? Which one am I looking to do? Because sometimes I'll think, well, I could do this, I could try that or whatever. And it's the whole career it's kind of more glamorous than changing diapers.
It is.
I mean, and I don't know, you change diapers and you feed your kid and they smile at you. That's nice. Okay, that's good. But it's really kind of cool to have a review and a raise. And,
yeah. Tell me about it.
But I do find myself still asking myself, am I seeking glamour or am I seeking to do God's will? So even if you are having a career and have a family, I think that's a really great question to ask, especially as a mom. You may have promotions or opportunities to maybe do more, but that may take away from your kids. So then that's a great question to sieve it through. Like, okay, this promotion and this new whatever, how will that help me glorify God more? And also, of course, my family, how my family be there more? Would it take me more away from my family? Because, okay, another thing is, this is for those who do have careers and have families. There's some ladies that do it really well.
Some women are doing it, and they do, like Indra Nooyi. I don't know if you know her. She was like Pepsi Cola's like CEO for the longest number of years, and now she talks a lot about how she said the clock of career and motherhood are opposing time zones, because she said the moment you get married, and that's the peak also of your career when you're due for promotion, so you're trying to do your best, and then it's like now you're having babies. So what do you do? And she kind of also talks about, she is like, when she went to Pepsi Cola, she's like, she told them, my kids are important to me. They are gonna come here when work is done at 5, and I still have to be here working. She brought her family to work, and then her kids were there. She's like, yeah, you either want me and my kids, or you don't want me. So it's like we have to start letting. She family was very important to her. She's talking about it a lot now. So family is important. Do not choose to not have kids for the convenience of a career or more money, or also that it's very expensive. That's another thing people say, are like, children are expensive. So what do you have to say about that? Because 6 kids is a lot of money, Laura.
That I don't know who puts it together. They will add up. This is the amount of money it costs to have a child. Every year they add it up, and then college education and they're it's kind of like, okay, that's how much it costs to have an only child.
Yeah.
And to not economize and not hand close down. And it's like they present the worst case scenario. Yeah. There are a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of people out there raising kids with a whole lot less than we have, for sure. Yeah. And they're happy people, happy kids. Yeah. So it is entirely doable. I don't look at that figure. That'll scare you to death. And different, I was like, what? Different families do college differently. Yeah. I know a family that said, hey, you can live at home the whole time you're going to college, you pay for college.
Yeah.
And can I recommend the college down the street there? There's some families that do it that way. We help our kids with college. We don't want them to go into debt, and they can live at home. And we've chosen to not send our kids away to college because the plane trips and the mandatory room and board at that point. So, I mean, there's a sacrifice. There's
It's a huge sacrifice.
the kids couldn't go to any college they wanted to go to. They had to live at home. Well, the oldest 2 could have done that. The other 4 wouldn't have been here. So I don't know. What do you say?
Yeah, so every family's dynamic will be different. However, just like she said, is that a lot of people have raised kids without the figures that's being put out there, that you need all this money to be able to raise a kid. Because all kids really need is our love. I'm beginning to see that more and more, that it's not really all the stuff. The stuff is great. I mean, great exposure, great experiences, but mom and dad are enough for the kids. And my boys, I mean, they do hang down. Everybody, like my oldest boy, some of his clothes are still being worn by my 4th boy. So, and I've shipped a lot of his things to Ghana, because after my 3rd boy, I thought I was boys ever. And so I sent everything to Ghana, where I'm from. But I still kept a few ones that were just very precious. They're like, oh, these ones I can't give them away. And the 4th is literally wearing it. So there's a lot of ways that you can economize and be able to have kids and take good care of them. And it's not extremely expensive that you can't afford it.
When they give this figure, this is what it costs. They're like adding up daycare for 4 kids. College out of state for 4 kids, a car for each child, and insurance for each child, and
the little things like that too. Because cooking is cheaper than always buying. Snacks, healthy snacks are even cheaper. Like, there's a lot of different ways. It's not every game or every they don't have to be in every club or every activity or extracurricular activity. They don't have to do it's fine, it's great if you can afford it, your kids, and I think it's great, but I feel like there's this pressure to do so much. Like, I think this, I think that, where it's like, wish my mom, because my mom was a single mom, and that was one of the things I always longed for growing up. She did not have a choice. She could not have stayed been at home with us, but I remember always longing for her more than my grandma. Was terrific and just wonderful, but I remember always just wishing she was more in our lives than she was. And so, yeah, you can do it if you're a mom. If you're thinking about it, I promise you, Lora has done it. She's raised 6 kids on a single income. She has done it. You can do it.
And my husband has worked very hard for that.
Very hard. God bless.
He's worked very hard.
God bless you.
Truly.
We appreciate you, Ramon, if you watch this. Thank you for watching part 2 of our 3-part series with Lora Cavanna. Watch out for fun Christmas tips in the next episode. And if you have not watched the previous episode, please go ahead and do so. Do leave your comments, your contribution in the comments below. And please like, please share, and please do subscribe for more. God bless you.